Nice suit, yeah.
Who are you? What?
It's me,
Who's me?
your inner voice.
This is not the time. I'm trying to give a talk here.
That can wait.
Nah, this is MozCon. There's 1,500 people here. I'm actually trying to impress some
They
people
don't
right
care.
now.
Look at them. Half of them are still asleep.
Maybe so, but what do you want?
I just saw what you did to the homepage. What is that all about?
Oh, it's going to be amazing. We're doing a complete brand refresh.
Lame.
No. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be about the day in the life of the marketer. We're going to have cinematic background video, parallax scrolling.
Boring.
No, a giant thing at the top with all these promos coming back and forth. It's going to be really special.
That sounds awful.
No. But we're also going to have an explainer video. Like, it's going to be an epic explainer video. It'll increase conversion by 20%. Guarantee it. I read a blog post.
Okay, but what if it doesn't win the test?
Well, you know, I want this on the homepage regardless. We put a lot of time and money into this.
Oh no, you just became one of those marketers who doesn't care about performance.
Shut up.
You shut up.
God, it's like this all day, every day in here. He just never stops talking.
So how's the test going?
Test's going losing by 9%, but that doesn't matter.
So it doesn't work.
We need to find a way to make it
The
work.
data says it doesn't.
You know what? Fuck data. That's what today's talk is about. Not really. I do like data. I wasn't angry at data. I wasn't even angry at the explainer video. They can be great if they're done properly. I was angry because the results didn't confirm our assumptions and our biases. We all thought this was going to crush it. How could it not? How could it not win this video on the homepage? But it lost by 20%, and the team was crushed. Like, everybody worked so hard on it, and it was just an epic failure. The problem was there wasn't a single piece of data, anecdotal, qualitative, quantitative, that suggested we should do this, right? I didn't give a single piece of data to the copywriter and the designer at the start of this project. In fact, in my research, 67% of marketers say they don't have enough data to do their job properly, and 51% said their analytics isn't even set up correctly. That's terrible. It's not good enough. We didn't do it for the right reasons. We did it because everyone else was doing it. Right? It's just flooded with requests to do this kind of thing. And that's not how we should be operating. We have to make decisions based on insights and available information, not just because it's suggested we should do it. Because this happens with every trend. There'll be 400 blog posts about why you should use an explainer video, followed by 150 videos in the form of explainer videos explaining why you should use an explainer video. It's too much. Now you laugh, and I promise I didn't do this on purpose. This is one of our dogs, and I thought I'd give him a mohawk, but I used human clippers, which is not, and it just got so messy. I had to go all the way down to the skin. Let's put sunscreen on him so that he wouldn't fry in the sun. Just sorry, if there's anyone from PETA here, I didn't mean it. Everything will be at this link. There's a little landing page there that has all the slides, everything I'm talking about. I'll share that a couple of times throughout. See what you mean, Rand. Okay, so in my research, over 700 people in marketing teams. I think marketing teams are dysfunctional. I've seen it, I've seen the frustration, and I think I know how to fix it. So I interviewed marketers, designers, and copywriters primarily. So we're going to have a little look at how they feel about one another. So we'll give them each 3 lives, and then we'll hear what they have to say. So, marketer. It's not a marketer, it's the designer. They have no understanding of customer behavior. Okay, he loses a life. The designer's job is to make it look good, like make it pretty. Hey, can you just make this pretty? Designers hate hearing that. That's a life away from him. Writers don't understand the difference between people and search engines. And they want to make the designer begin before giving them the content. This is so common, and it's a massive problem. 81% of designers say they have to begin before they have any copy. So no data, no copy. Now they're just building kind of templates based on their imagination or copying someone or downloading a theme, even worse. That's a big problem. Marketers are myopic and enjoy navel-gazing. Someone Google that. I don't even know what navel-gazing means. I guess it's not good. It's good for the mic volume, but... And they don't respect how design, what design is, and they think they know how to do it. 98% of marketers I surveyed have to give design feedback to designers, and 87% of them think they're qualified to do that.
Bullshit.
Total bullshit. I've been on both sides of this for 20 years. That's way overconfident. That's not actually true. They don't understand and really trust or believe in what the other people are doing. It's just a messy, dysfunctional system. And then, you can't say that to a designer. That's just the worst possible thing you could say. Right now, quick hands up. Put your hand up if you're a designer. Wrong! We're all designers. Designers are problem solvers. We're all problem solvers. That's the job of a designer. It's the job of all of us. This is my biggest hero, because he can take any terrible situation and fix it using anything available to him. We, as marketers, designers, and copywriters, need to start living our lives through the lens of an optimizer. Because when you do that, when you find things that are broken or annoy you in your day-to-day, if you imagine or actually try and fix them, you'll become a better designer, a better marketer, a better business person as a result. This is our bathroom. Nicole will hate me for sharing this on a big screen, but you can see there the shower curtain. If you're having a bath there, she has a bath every day. Like, it's blocking the light, it's annoying, it's kind of, easy fix. Bungee cord. Now it looks like an expensive hotel. Look how classy that is. I mean, I know it's a bungee cord, but still, it's all nicely wrapped. It's beautiful. This is what we should be doing all day, every day. It's my favorite pastime. It's all about empathy. Understanding our visitors and customers, obviously, but also understanding one another on the team, understanding what it means to be a designer or a writer and how they feel, having empathy for how they would actually like to do their job. It's not about just taking what you see other people doing and implementing it. So, there are a lot of design trends out there that are all kind of coming together to cause this problem. Every year, more and more of them come out, some years way more than others. And the problem is they typically don't go away. They just build and build, and I blame theme designers in part because they're salespeople, right? They take every possible interaction model and design trend and they put them all inside these themes, so they're so bloated and slow and they're a usability nightmare and hence a conversion nightmare. That's just, they're trying to make sales, and that's not fair on the people who buy these because they get them because they're non-technical and they don't know that it's messing with their performance. So this slide, this is from Google Trends. The red line is Pinot Noir. The blue line is a different kind of wine. I want to take you back to 2004. Something profound happened. Pinot, you see, was down the bottom and then changed forever until now. So I went to see a movie with a good friend of mine. It was a movie about wine, and because we're adults and incredibly childish, we decided, this is Jeremy, our CMO, and me, we decided to sneak in a couple of bottles of Pinot inside our jackets, because that's what you do. And so we're in the middle of the movie, and we're taking turns. It's my turn, so I'm like this, trying to pour the wine. Nothing in the cup, nothing in the cup. And there's a wine tasting scene. Guy 2 rows in front of me goes, "Holy crap, this is amazing, I can smell the wine." Because I'm not tilting it enough to get it, it's just running around the edge and it's going all over the floor. There's red wine everywhere.
Do not sabotage me.
Then this scene happened. Changed history forever.
Do not sabotage me.
Oh, aye, Captain, you got it.
And if they want to drink Merlot, we're drinking Merlot.
No, if anybody orders Merlot, I'm leaving. I am not drinking any f***ing Merlot!
Okay, relax, Mom.
So Merlot is the blue line. And that's when the movie came out. I predicted it at the time, and sure enough, 4 years later, the sideways effect was confirmed. They're powerful. I think this quote, it came from a box of matches at one point, but it only takes one tree to make 1,000 matches. One match to burn 1,000 trees. That's the kind of power that trends have to influence us. Sometimes we're not even aware that they're doing it. It's a true fact. I love judging wine by its cover. I'll pick one up and I go, oh, it looks amazing. Ooh, it's Merlot. Ooh. And I just put it down again. I can't help it. Okay, so I've created this process, data-driven design, 3D. I like alliteration. I actually prefer data-informed design, but that doesn't have 3Ds. And it's a process to help marketing teams work better together, understand one another better, collaborate better, and also deal with these influences that come at us from trends and from requests from clients and that kind of thing. So it's very simple. The first thing you do is you consult the 3D playbook, which is a kind of lookup table. So in this case, I'm interested in working on creating or optimizing the hero shot on my page. So I should look at Visual ID false bottom stock photos. What this does, this takes all the data that's out there, which is overwhelming, and it'll just say, just pay attention to these few things. Just simplifying. This is what it looks like. It's a big Google sheet. Again, it's at that link. Now, what it does, along the top is all the data types and sources, and down the left are the objects that you're interested in, and there's notes on all of these cells explaining what it is and why you should care about it for that particular object. And there's a custom menu at the top. When you click on that, it has them all, and when you click one of those, it will isolate that in the table, so you can just look at that alone. It speeds up the process. Then you collect the data. Ideally as a team. This is just a simple checklist. You've seen which data you should collect from the playbook. You just put it in here so you can run through this, have a note, where you're getting it from, what tool, how much you need, sample size. That kind of information will be in the playbook. It just helps you get aligned with what you're supposed to be doing. The third, make observations. This is the start of the really fun stuff. And you need to do this as a team. Look at the data you've collected, whether it's graphs, charts, spreadsheets, heat maps, recordings of users and usability tests. Look at it together, because that's when the empathy begins, not just with the visitor, but with the people in the room when they see and react to these things. Then you just jot them down. Print this out and do it by hand. That's the best way. It's it's just a better process that way. And you make your observations. You put them in here, and then you rate them by severity. If it's a blocker, something that's stopping people from continuing, that's an instant 5. Otherwise, just do that to help prioritize. And then you go into the design phase. Now, copying a bit from Google's sprint model, what's great to do here is have the team leave the room for like 10 minutes and go and sketch their own way of solving these problems, how to MacGyver these solutions. When you come back, you present in front of each other, and you learn, and it can all evolve collectively. So you can two ways of doing this. You can either take each one and sketch how to solve that problem. So maybe we need bigger underpants. Maybe we need to put more toilet humor in our copy. Pandas are always good for conversions, and we have to be unique. So you can do it that way. Or you can combine all of it into one kind of idea that you would use to solve this problem. Depends how you think. Right? Product idea, someone grab a domain. All right, then, the latest trend I saw last year was something called conversational forums. Fascinating new thing. Came from an agency in Denmark, in Copenhagen, called Space 10. They're really interested in human behavior and interaction. Now what it is, it's a simple script that you put on your page, and it will take a regular form and change it into a chat like this. So it's like a seemingly more human style interaction. So I wanted to validate this, and they were super stoked, because we don't have the capacity or ability to test this. I'm like, awesome, I'll do it with you, I'll collaborate. So first thing we do, check the playbook. What should we be looking at? Well, let's look at session recordings, do some mobile QA, usability tests, scroll and click maps, and lead data. They're the things that I want to focus on to understand and validate this new trend. Collecting the data, going to use Hotjar, my phone, Camtasia, and Unbounce for these things. Different things require different sample sizes. Scroll maps, 1,000 or 2,000. A usability test, maybe 6 people, and so on. Okay, so what did I observe from this? Now, these are the 6 data points I want, and these yellow bubbles, this is basically the notes that appear in the playbook. So that's kind of what it's going to tell you in there to help you figure out what you should be doing. So I put one on a form, I launched it, on a page, launched it, put Hotjar on there to record the session. This is 5 minutes after I launched. Lots of scrolling up and down. Then it starts to get a little wacky, get a bit panicky all over the place. Then there's an error, and he can't escape, and it just gets more and more crazy. And this goes on. And then he refreshes the page and does it all over again. I'm just like, this is where the empathy comes from. I'm like, oh my God, I'm ruining this guy's day. This is awful. So my observations, lots of wild scrolling, and there was a bug with the error handling. So what do? Well, first of all, I freaked out. Then Nicole, who's much smarter than me, this is my fiance, was like, but Bruce put his email address in, you should reach out. I'm like, oh, brilliant. So I sent him an email. I'm so sorry, Bruce. I was testing something, and I saw a recording, it was terrible, I apologize. Here's the content you were looking for. Again, I'm really sorry. 2 minutes later, he replies, in 25 years, the best way of owning up to a mistake I've ever seen, much more likely to engage with and bounce the brand as a result. So took a horrible experience and turned it into something special, spotted the bugs, fixed them within the first hour, and pushed it back out there. What was it like on a phone? Okay, so this is what it looks like when you get to the form. Looks pretty good. It's kind of hard to tell what it is, but more importantly, when you click where you have to type, the keyboard comes up and you can't see the question anymore. So you don't know what you're answering. Now, this is when it's integrated in a system, like we put on an Unbounce page, because it's not designed for that. When they're standalone, it's actually beautiful interaction. So this was just like, it's not quite set up. So I took it off mobile for the time being. Usability test. Now, this is so easy and so little done. People talk about it, but I slacked people around the company. I said, hey, do you have 2 minutes? 10 people, and I was like, yeah, sure, because people love being involved, and this is, again, how you develop a culture of optimization. I say, the instructions, they're standard. It's like, we are evaluating this page, not you. You can't do anything wrong. If something doesn't work, it's the page's fault, not your fault. So I'll give you a task, read it out loud. This gets them in the kind of how they should be doing it. Read it out loud, and then verbalize everything you do as you are going through this experience. And so the task, you're looking for a landing page course in Google, you find one, find a way, I recorded with Camtasia, find a way to take the course. Now, the reason I recorded it with that, lots of tools, is so I could see the screen, but also the person's face, so you can see how they react to things, which is really important, especially with something so new. Quite a few observations.
Right. Although the 3 dots kind of represent like, okay, am I typing or is somebody else typing?
Because we're used to that from any chat devices where when the dots are animated, it's like someone on the other end is typing. So this is like, oh, there's someone else there. Also, it didn't stop because it's just an animation. There's nothing there, and that person's already typed. So that, she continued, but it gave her a reason to pause and go, not really sure what's going on. I gave that severity 2 because it wasn't that big a deal, but interesting. Now, if you have a drop-down list, it converts into a series of buttons. If it's a long list, you have to filter by starting to type, and it will give you the right answers. It's really cool, but you still have to click the button. Some people would type, see the correct answer, and go, oh, and hit enter. What that did is it submitted the first or default value. So now we're getting a bit of fake data because that's not what they intended to do. So that's a bit of a problem. Give that a 4.
How much information am I going to be asked for? No. So I'm like, oh my God, am I going to be having to do this for a long time? And I don't know how long it's going to take me. And this is great benefit for them, but is it a great benefit for me?
Because it's not a standard form with 4 form fields or whatever, she had no idea how long this was going to take. right? It's like, am I talking to someone? Is it a bot? And how many questions are involved here? So another great insight. All right, click map. Now, I had scroll map on here too. I won't show you that because it didn't really show much. And if you do a click map, you're going to capture the scroll map too. Have a look. In this case, it didn't do much. It's a very short page. But on the click map, I saw something really interesting.
I guess I could check it out. Okay, I can't click on what my first
That's the
thing
first
is.
question. That's not what you type.
I'm going to type it down here.
And she kept clicking on it. 12% of all visitors did the same thing. I don't want them to be doing that. I want them to get straight to the entry field. So we need to try and change behavior there. Okay, so because it's so different, my biggest concern was that people would put fake email addresses in there because they're like, I don't know who or what this is. I'm a little, sketched out. So that was a big fear I had. And sure enough, 2.5 times as many fake email addresses came through this. Right? I think it's because of that fear and not being familiar with this kind of interface. Oh, rewinding a bit, so spam, talking about that. So trends over time, some of them get better, some don't. But in '97, this was the first interruptive device on the web, even before pop-ups, came 2 years later. Sometimes funny, but usually just a pain. Right? But then 10 years later, a group got together to do reCAPTCHA, which is actually for good. Because when you type in here, you're helping crowdsource, digitize old books that machines can't interpret yet. So you're actually helping. And then Google acquired them 2 years after that. So I don't mind when I'm filling out this kind of thing because it's doing good. Now, however, I know that's great for accessibility, but there are some books that I don't believe should be continued in their life. I think there's a couple of exceptions. And I promise I was not reading that book at the time. Okay, that was not my intention at all. It's a thing. Come on. God. Unexpected gifts from the animals of Africa. And if you're from Canada, this is the best spam filter of all. You put a red dot in your mailbox, they don't put junk mail through your door anymore. It's amazing. It's like a little known Canada Post hack. Sorry, it doesn't work here, but maybe someone will do that one day. It's amazing. And good for the environment. Okay, so all these observations, now it's time to try and solve these problems through some design exercises. So this is what it looks like with my sketches on here. I'll go through a couple of them, show what I did. So the first one, the animated dots. I went to Space 10, the creator, their GitHub account. There was a discussion, and someone else had observed the same thing about these and had a line of CSS to just hide it. So I stuck that in Unbounce, hid it, perfect. That was dead easy. Now, people clicking on typing instead of clicking on these buttons, I simply made them look more like buttons, classic kind of orange CTA color, because orange always converts better than any other color. And I put instructions in the thing. So, do you work for an agency? Yes or no, click yes or no below. So I explicitly told them how they should interact with this. I don't really want to go to that length, but I'm trying to validate if I can change on-page behavior, which is the goal of optimization. And then I put a subhead, just 4 quick questions, so people knew what to expect from this experience. Now, from the, which one was this? From the click map. Okay, I didn't want people clicking on that first question. So all I did was say, instead of what's your work email, I said, which email address would you like us to send the course link to? That's not what I'm talking about. Is it? I can't remember. No, it's not. It is not. No. I changed the entry field to look like a CTA, to draw people's attention to it instead of that first question, right? Because none of it's familiar, but an orange button is familiar. So that was my goal, to bring them down there right away. And then this one, I just said, which email address? Trying to reduce the spam. Because if you think, well, I have to give them a real email address to start the course, you'd be more likely to do so. That was my hypothesis, at least. So now you have all of these from all of the team. You've got all this data and research around it, your decisions, your observations, and then how you solve that through design. You did this as a team, so you got all this stuff. Now the designer can go away with this and start doing meaningful work that is all informed by data and the collective opinion of the team and how they all think these things should be. You know, group, team-led hypotheses, which is a much smarter way. So they can take the original one, show how they changed it, annotate all of the things they changed based on the numbers you put on the worksheets. And now you have something to present and to launch that's actually meaningful. But the extra step, if you're running an A/B test, it's not just about the conversion rate, right? Everything we've learned there becomes a micrometric. We're trying to change behavior so all of those numbers get better. Everything we saw that was a problem all has to get better. And it's a much smarter way of thinking about optimization. Instead of just going, we want to move this one number, no, we want to change behavior. So the first one, percentage of people clicking on the first question. Awesome. That went way down because of that design treatment. Number of fake emails, way down again. Succeeding a lot in these micrometrics. But then on the number of personal email addresses, I want professional email addresses at moz.com, at unbounce.com. I don't want Gmail or Hotmail, because then when I'm doing my email marketing, it's not going business hours to their business inbox. That went way up in the wrong direction. And I think because in my research in prior years, putting the word work or business in the email address field label gets a lot more pro email addresses. I took that out by mistake when I changed this question, so I need to put that back in somehow. Good learning there. And the conversion rate, it's basically flatlining. It's been running for 4 weeks. It's a low traffic page. It probably needs about 8 or 9 weeks, which is a really long time, but I think it's just going to flatline. So the good thing is this didn't hurt conversions. And actually, the previous test was against a regular form, and that also didn't lose. So we're starting to validate this design trend instead of just implementing it blindly. So it looks like it's actually going to be a good thing and might be something we want to consider. Now, remember this guy at the start? This is actually Corey, one of our marketing directors at Unbound. Sad Corey, we call him. And I asked him it was for a video he did, he had to look sad. And I asked him, I texted him late one night, I'm like, hey, you were on the team that did the explainer video. What do you remember about it? Well, we made up a bunch of shit, and we started the project because we thought we needed a video. Like, completely wrong reasons. And it brought some of the pain back, and he was like, I really hated that video. I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek at this offensive piece of creative.
Every marketing campaign needs a landing page. We need them often, and we need them fast. I could use some help from design, but she's in the middle of a big project. And I'll need a developer to actually code the page for me. Our developers are busy, and building a landing page is not at the top of their list. That's how getting landing pages built used to be. Now I use Unbounce. With the Unbounce landing page builder, I can start with a template, or I can build my landing page from scratch. It's quick and it's easy.
Unlike watching it. It goes on and on. It was terrible. We hate the way he spoke at the end in the integrations part. He went, Salesforce. And we're like, don't say it like that. But in the take where he didn't say that, he couldn't say our name right. He was like, Unbounce. And we're like, God, you're fired. Okay, this is a Venn diagram of frustration between these three disciplines. And you can see most of it is between the marketer and the designer. The rest there's some there, but it's not as bad. 32% of marketers are frustrated, 45% of designers. And that's because of this dysfunctional relationship. I believe this process fixes that problem. So there was a lot of frustration at the beginning. So I want to try and leave on a more positive note. So I reached out again in my research, and I said, what's awesome about working with these people? Few of the responses. Marketers talking about designers. The word magic came up a lot, right? Because they do special things that we don't know how to do. Superpowers. This is great stuff. How about the flip side? Designers talking about marketers. They're enthusiastic and motivated. Yeah, marketing. Full of ideas. Still got some work to do on that one. Designers talking about copywriters. They're intelligent. And finally, they're a symbiotic organism. We die without them. Okay, that's some serious passion that is under the surface. There's a lot of respect there, but it doesn't often get to come out because we don't collaborate and follow this kind of process. And I think this will change it. Because when it's data-driven, data-informed, that leads to more empathy, which leads to results. Thank you very much. That's the link again, but I've wanted to speak at Moz for a long time. You're probably going to hear this a lot. Rand's a good friend, and we've always looked up to them, so I want to just, if you'll indulge me, I want to take an old school selfie on this Instax thing. So it's not wide angle, this could be horrible. Can we get the lights up, please, on the, good job, all right. Okay, so if you can all do like actually I'm a designer, like just go, woo! And then this side too. I'm not gonna wait for it to develop, don't worry. All right. Woo! Come on. Recharge. Thank you very much. I'll be around all week, so come chat.